Hey guys, this is Austin Doctor, and before the review begins, I just want to say this is how you make up for a bad episode. This is the prime example, and good lord, this episode was so good, but the ending kind of made it go further into the arc, and I'm so happy it turned out the way it did. But yeah, let's get into this review. Alright, so we're greeted in the beginning about how 02 has kind of just completely devoured everyone that she had, as we predicted that would happen, yeah. And we see Squad 13 has to work with other plantations because of this entire big invasion apparently that's going on. And we see the 9 show up, and they have kind of similar Franxxes to what 02 has. And it was very interesting to see, because a little towards the middle of the episode, we see them actually, the guys are not the actual, I forgot the other name, but they're pistols, what the girls are usually in. It was quite interesting, to say the least, and probably we'll find out next episode what that has to do with it. But going back on track, we start to see kind of Hiro talk to himself, kind of beat himself up over what he said. And it was just beautiful, honestly. And we see that Squad 32, which the guy we saw in the thing that wasn't piloting with the 02, which we found out, thankfully, but his squad was ordered to basically do a suicide bombing on the Colossus just to stop it to go to the plantation. And it didn't completely work because it got into one of the plantations and it knocked into the thing and started pouring out all these Colossus. And we just see all the small ones start to go after the city. And Hiro starts to remember what he said to 02 the last episode, and it really starts to get to him, basically. And he goes to see 02's room and see if she left anything, and we see that 02 actually has repaired the broken mirror that she broke. And Hiro starts to even feel more guilty after that. And that's when we see Hiro rush out in one of those single piloting Franxxes that he usually trains with to go to 02, but he gets completely destroyed, so Ichigo looks at him, and Goro just tells Ichigo, you need to take him to 02. I can't stand them two being like this, basically. And Goro, you're the man, honestly, in this episode especially, but he basically gets out of the Franxx, and Hiro gets in with Ichigo, and basically they start to actually connect, and Hiro can pilot with her, but she started to see Hiro's memories, and they are all of 02, and this is where Ichigo starts to see that Hiro loves 02, and there's really no point anymore. I hope she stops, maybe in the next episode, but continuing on, we see Ichigo rushing at 02 because she's a little pissed off about Hiro liking 02, well, loving 02 so much, and she headbutts her head into 02's mouth, basically, the mecha's mouth, and we see good old Hiro go right into it. And I'm like, that's my boy. My boy's, he got balls. He got balls to go in there. And we start to see kind of how good old 02 is doing in there. She has these giant horns, and they're just huge and massive. They're kind of like antlers almost. And it starts to look interesting. We have flashbacks, and we see that 02 actually had to have her mind wiped multiple times because there was things they couldn't wipe out. And we learned that 02's first words were darling. And it was beautiful. And Hiro rushes up to her, basically says, don't worry, we can talk this out, basically. And she starts remembering all this stuff, and Hiro shatters her horns completely, almost. Well, one's really giant, but still they shattered. And it was beautiful, and we see 02 kind of finally have guilt to what she did, and basically telling Hiro that he shouldn't forgive her. And Hiro's like, no, I called you a monster, and I'm just like, thank God you talked about what happened the last episode. Writers, it was amazing, especially how they kind of just start to realize that they need to talk things out, and they need each other. And that new transformation is actually really nice looking, especially with the red tint on it now. And I can't get over that confession when they were fighting that big Colossusaur that was basically, that I'm going to call it a destroyer because it looks like a destroyer, but they started going through that thing no problem, and you hear 02 just keep saying darling, 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 darling. Then she says, I love you. and Hiro starts to cry and says, "I love you too," basically. And that ending was just beautiful, and they have made up for what they have done. And this is my second favorite episode now of Darling in the Franxx. But continuing on towards the end, we start to see this massive core, and going before, we saw the cores kind of have like these human-like babies in them. And I think this is starting to build up where we're going to learn what the adults are really doing and why people are able to pilot. And it's starting to get interesting, especially on the cliffhanger they left us off with, is this big hand comes out, and I don't know if they took out the 9 and dragged them down, especially with 02 and Hiro, but we'll see next episode. And I have to say, this episode was it was excellent. Well executed, and I hope to see more episodes like this. But guys, if you did actually enjoy this episode, tell me what was your favorite part. I know mine was the confession, and it really touched me. And I can't wait for more episodes after this one, because this is bringing Darling in the Franxx back, the one I love and everything. But what are possible theories? What we're gonna possibly see is we're gonna start seeing more about why these kids aren't able to grow up, in a sense. But I'll save more of the theories for episode 16, because I'm gonna come out with a theory video like I usually do for every 3 episodes. But if you're going to give Ichigo a free pass after this episode, you can choose to. I am not, because I still am not forgiving her for what she did. But anyways, guys, if you did like this video, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day, and I will see you until the next time. This is Austin Doctor, signing out. Peace.